What's up guys, everyone is doing well. In this video I'm going to be going over some updates for Bitcoin, but nonetheless going to get it started. The first thing I want to talk about here is this 12-month chart. But before I get into this, I just want to quickly reiterate what I spoke about in the last video with respect to the 6-month chart. Now here portrayed are the traditional candlesticks, and the gist of what I was saying was you can see here this upwards movement here. We had a red candle, bear market. We then see from here onwards, from 2011 to the last 14 years approximately, where Bitcoin, again, so we had cycle 1 in here, cycle 2 begins, bear market, then price starts to move up, we get above the prior all-time high, and then have the bull market of phase 1. Phase 1 ends, cycle 2 begins, first red candle, this indicates the bear market. Bear market ensues, price starts to move up, closes above prior all-time high, moves up. Phase 2, cycle 2's over, cycle 2 ends with the all-time high of 2017, around $19,000-$20,000. Here we begin cycle 3, phase 1. Again, first red candle indicates bear market, bottoms out 2018, early 2019. Bitcoin starts to move up here, the intermediate move up towards around 14,000, during around sometime around summer of 2019. We had then leading into the March crash, still have not, as you can see, closed above the prior all-time high. After the March crash, then Bitcoin starts to move up, closes above that prior all-time high, moves up to 64, 69,000. We see the red candle here, and again indicating the bear market. Bear market begins, then bottoms out towards the end of 2022, around 15, 16,000. Bull market ensues. We see the prior all-time high closed above, and then Bitcoin is moving up. And then currently we see that this candle is red. Right now there's 3 months, 14 days. So according to the last 14 years, if this closes red, assuming the trend affirms itself and continues, this will then begin the bear market, meaning $109,000 was the all-time high of the current bull run. Now to move into the 12-month chart relative to that, we can see that beginning here, so at the first 2014, we have again bear market candle, bottoms out here. This candle is green. We have 1, 2, 3 candles for that bull market. Cycle 2 ends with phase 2. We have here next iteration 0, the bear market candle, bottoms out, bull market begins 1, 2, 3, and we're going to just hear rinsing and repeating. Bitcoin tops out in 2021, 64 to 69,000. Red candle here, third iteration of 0, bear market candle. Now we're seeing 1, 2, and we're on the third candle. So again, if this trend is going to be affirmed, this one being around 11 years, again on the 6-month chart is around 14 years of price data and history factoring into this. Again, these are the higher time frames, the highest time frame here, specifically the 12-month. So this is quite a reasonable and strong analysis, especially with the fact that it's been 14 years in the making. So again, if this trend affirms itself, then that means that this third candle here, currently red, small body, will flip green and will close this year green, indicating that this will be the final move upwards for the current bull run. There will be one more period of price discovery leading into the all-time high. Likely what I think will happen is you'll see this candle turn green, assuming this plays out. We'll see the wick up to the all-time high, again anywhere from around 180k, 250k, maybe 300k at highest, somewhere within that broad range. Then I think, depending upon when it tops out, I'm still personally leaning towards sometime around June, July, at earliest May, and then really to kind of push that towards its borderline like late April, but more so personally right now I'm looking towards June, July. If things extend a bit more, if the current retracement goes even lower, if it goes sideways for an extended period of time, then I will likely start to reframe my bias towards late Q3, but more predominantly quarter 4. I'm going to go down the line here again. I'm going to go from the higher time frames to the lower time frames. Something I pointed out in the last video was this weekly chart and how we can see that ever since the bear market bottom here, 15, 16K, looking at the RSI, we had to move above the here. This would be the 272. Ever since then, we've seen Bitcoin come above. 272 is RSI support. again, RSI support, and we're seeing Bitcoin has come back down to it currently, and right now it's seeing a bounce. We're also seeing the RVI finding a bounce here as it has reached the most oversold point and levels since back in June of 2022 when Bitcoin was hitting around 19-20K. And ever since then, once the RVI got above around 43, 44, you can see that it has been holding above 43, 44, and with this recent downturn, went below that again. So Bitcoin is sitting with recently the local low approximately 80K here, and each of these subsequent periods on the RVI were above, yet all these prices were lower. For example, 15, 16K, 25K leading into 75K, 49, 50K leading into 108, 109K, but yet the RVI is far more oversold, that being a good sign. Again, also in tandem with the 272 here being the horizontal support so far. Hopefully best case scenario that holds up. Again, looking here at this, we're still continuing to see a bounce in this slightly ascending support zone going all the way back to Q1, January, February, March of 2023 here. Also in correlation to the 50 EMA band here, you can see with the 50 EMA, this turquoise SMA moving average with its purple band, where this was support up to 30K, support here 25K, up to 75K, then down to 49, 50K support, up to 108, 109K, now back down to around 100 or approximately 80K along again. So we think about the RSI uptrend here, looking at the price uptrend here as well, along with the 50 EMA, along with what I went over on this chart. Again, the 12-month chart, 6-month chart. Looking here at the 12-hour, again, we're seeing this descending resistance that has been holding Bitcoin down since the fizzling out of the upside volume here as it led into 108K, but then had the sideways here with this recent drop down to, again, like I've said, approximately 100, or not 100, approximately 80K at lowest here. And we're seeing, again, price descending, local lows, RSI ascending, seeing the stock RSI ascending here up in this upper portion, which typically is generally associated with bullish movement. We're seeing again MACD bullish divergence, the histogram bullish divergence, and the RSI bullish divergence, as I pointed out in the last chart. So all those are good signs in relationship to everything else so far. Again, there still is this RSI looks like it wants to break out. I mean, it also would have looked like that here and here as well. But given of how long this has been, and factoring in everything else on the week on the 6-month and 12-month I went over, right now is quite a good case. There's also, again, each of these vertical lines here, you can see where the RSI got super oversold from 25 down to 17, where each of these, you can see where these local lows here leading into upsides each of these times. And we're in a very similar situation currently, I believe, to see something play out very much so similar to those. Again, obviously it's not guaranteed, but nonetheless it is looking rather promising. If we look here at the 4-hour chart, we're seeing this ascending support here so far on the price. We're also seeing an ascending support on the 4-hour RSI here with, again, bullish divergence as well. There's bullish divergence on the MACD as well on the stock RSI, really similar to the 12-hour chart. I mean, the RVI's got it as well. The SO here, also a similar situation. So best case scenario, this holds and we won't see Bitcoin come back down to perhaps horizontal local lows here, especially not even lower. But really best case scenario, this gets held, 50 EMA gets broken, and this band moves up to this resistance here, generally corresponsive to right here in this range, which is where the 200 EMA, or the 800 EMA, the violet, and the 200 EMA, the white. We'll see Bitcoin best case scenario come up, maybe sit here for a bit, come up again, break this purple zone, break this resistance here, which is a longer term resistance since 109,000. Again, moving up here into the orange zone, and then continue to obviously go higher. Again, I just want to reiterate the 200 EMA and 800 EMA. We've seen the cross here. Last times this happened would have been here back in July. As soon as this happened, the local low was set and it moved up to 69K, 70K. Did have to move back down to 49K, but ultimately this was corresponding quite closely and approximately in proximity to the local lows of around that 50, 53 down to $49,000 range. Really generally kind of this horizontal box here. We saw another cross right here. Again, each of these times we're seeing these crosses where we see the 200 mega below. It's always every single time, with this third time being here. You can see it's always with these local lows that are leading into these moves up here towards the upside, which again, all very good signs with respect to and correlation to the higher time frame analysis that I have already gone over. Now, that was really all that I wanted to go over and update in this video. Again, there's really just not too much to talk about. Bitcoin's been rather boring, really just waiting to see if it wants to go lower. Maybe it wants to, as I said, retest the horizontal lows again and then finally break out. Or maybe this is finally the moment many people have been waiting for, where we're actually going to see Bitcoin start to break these key resistances, break these key estimated moving averages, these horizontal zones, and actually move back up to 108, 109K, and then continue to go higher towards that 130, 150, 180, 200, 230, 250, maybe even 300K at highest by around sometime Q3, Q4 at latest. I would say maybe extending into Q1 of 2020. I mentioned briefly this talk has been going on X about this. Here, according to this tweet, Trump insider, a whale, $380 million Bitcoin short, 40x leverage. People are trying to liquidate them, wherever they may be, at around 86.6. This is rather similar to what happened with the long position with high leverage back during end of February, which led into the first few days of March, around 85, 86,000, which led into the move up to 94, 95,000, which was also at the same time that Trump had mentioned the strategic reserve for Bitcoin and the digital asset stockpile, which was obviously associated with the executive order that he signed for such. And obviously that led to short-term move up to 94, 95,000, but ultimately it came down to make another local low around 76.6. Now here we are a few weeks later, and we're seeing the opposite of that, where here was a long, now we're seeing a short. So I think there's roughly two scenarios that could play out. Maybe we're going to see one more quick move back down to the horizontal lows and bounce up, or we'll see another move down to even lower lows, locally speaking, around 74.3, 74.5, around this 800 EMA right here, or we'll see a move down into this final vector zone here from around 73.4 down to around 69,000, which I've been speaking about recently. Generally, this is really the only notable vector zone left to recover. You can see all of these are relatively small. The most notable one will be down here around 43,000, 44, 45,000. And if that ends up being hit, then I will likely start saying that the bull market's over, which would be relative to the 6-month analysis that I have gone over earlier and also in the past video. So those are the two scenarios. Either we will see one more quick move, quick recovery, or if the price can manage to move up to 86, 87,000 and that short gets liquidated, we'll see a squeeze and likely see either a quick move up, or obviously it'll just slowly blow it up. But more likely than not, I'd have to say that probably just quickly move up, recover the 200 EMA around 92,000, move into the important range around 94, 95, 96, 97,000, roughly around here, then move up to 108, 109,000, and they continue to go higher. But really all this could end up being a perfect storm. If this does end up playing out like a short squeeze, the price moves up to 86, 87,000, that short gets liquidated with high leverage, obviously $320 million, a lot of money, factoring in everything I've already gone over so far. Again, this could be shaping up to be a perfect storm around the local lows, moving into this final impulse towards the upside for Bitcoin to put an end to the current bull run. But as I said, that was all that I wanted to go over and update in this video. So as always, none of this is meant to be financial advice, but all that being said and everything gone over, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.